Once upon a time, in a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a peculiar village called Minnivale. Minnivale was no ordinary place. For centuries, the women of the village were known to be petite and delicate, almost as though the land itself shaped them into graceful, tiny beings. But one day, everything began to change. It started when Alara, the baker's wife, discovered she was pregnant. The villagers gathered in excitement to celebrate the news, as babies in Minnivale were rare and cherished. However, Alara's pregnancy turned out to be far from ordinary. While other expecting mothers barely showed any signs of their condition, Alara's belly grew larger by the day. She began to crave the strangest things: wild honey from the forest, roots of the giant grizzle tree, and an unusual thirst for water from the mountain spring. The villagers whispered among themselves, exchanging theories. Some said the baby would be a giant. Others believed Alara had been touched by a wandering spirit. Even the village elder, who had seen many seasons, admitted she'd never seen anything like it. When the baby finally arrived, the entire village gathered around the small, candlelit hut. The cries of the newborn echoed loudly, stronger than any they had heard before. Alara named her child Mara. And while all the women of Minnivale were known for their dainty hands and fine features, Mara was different. Her fingers were long and strong, her legs sturdy, and her eyes sparkled like the moonlit river. From the very beginning, it was clear Mara was destined to stand out. Though her size gave her strength, it also made her an outsider. The women of the village would glance at her with pity, while the men seemed intimidated. Mara often found herself walking alone, her long shadow stretching across the cobblestone paths. One day, as Mara wandered near the edge of the forest, she stumbled upon something extraordinary: a massive footprint embedded in the ground. It was larger than anything she'd ever seen, even bigger than her own. Following the tracks, she came across a hidden path that wound deeper into the forest than anyone from the village dared to go. Her heart raced as she ventured farther, the trees growing thicker and taller around her. At the end of the path, she found a clearing, and in it stood a giant stone pillar with ancient runes carved into its surface. At its base lay a pool of shimmering water, glowing faintly in the twilight. As Mara stepped closer, a voice resonated in her mind.
Mara, child of strength, you are not an anomaly but a guardian. Long ago, this valley was protected by the Great Ones, women of size and power who ensured the balance of the land. But they were forgotten, their legacy erased. You are the first of their lineage to awaken. The village is in danger, and only you can save it.
Mara's heart pounded. The voice revealed that a great storm was coming, one that would flood the valley and destroy Minnivale unless the ancient channels buried beneath the earth were reopened. These channels could only be unearthed by someone with the strength and resilience of the Great Ones. Someone like her, determined to prove her worth and embrace her destiny. Mara returned to the village. Though many doubted her, she rallied a few brave souls to help her dig where the runes had shown. Her size and strength allowed her to break through stone and earth, uncovering the old channels just as the storm clouds gathered over the mountains, as the rain poured and the river swelled. The channels carried the water away, saving Minnivale from disaster. The villagers, once skeptical, now looked at Mara with awe and gratitude. She was no longer the odd one out. She was their protector, a living reminder of the great ones who had come before her. From that day on, Minnivale celebrated Mara as their guardian. And though she remained the only woman of her size in the village, she was never alone again, for she had found her purpose and her place in the story of Minnivale, a story that would be told for generations to come. And so, Mara stood tall, not just in stature but in spirit, a beacon of strength and courage for her people.